Hey YouTube, this is Justin with Alternative Drummer. Today I've got another video about the Avatar PD705, but what I did today actually is created kind of a micro electronic drum kit using the PD705 as kind of the base, and then I added a snare pad, hi-hat pedal, bass drum trigger, and basically so I have like a really compact full electronic drum kit. Now I'm going to go over and show you all the details of how I created this, as well as post some links down below if you want to purchase some of this stuff for yourself to set up your own. You can do that down below. Before we get started, be sure to follow me on Spotify. There's a playlist link down below containing a lot of my musical projects. Anyway, here we go. Alright, so the PD705 is being used for all of the drum sounds, and these are some custom created kits that I put in here myself. And I have it seated on a Gibraltar flat bass extra tall snare stand. And you can see it's going all the way down there, and this thing actually goes up pretty high. So if you wanted to, you could probably stand and play on this particular stand. Though not if you're like super tall, you probably couldn't, but I could. Now down below that, I've got this Simmons rubber pad. This is like a 10-inch. I believe it's the SD1000. Let me look at it real quick. So this is a S1000 PAD 9D, and yeah, these were the pads that came with the SD1000 series. You could probably use just about any electronic drum trigger, and that is being plugged into the back, and I'll show you where everything's connected here in a second. But this is mounted on a Tama fast clamp, just connected to the snare stand there, and that holds that nice. I had to dial in the settings a little bit to cut down on some of the crosstalk, but all I had to do was just raise the threshold a little bit on the snare, and then that took care of it. Now the bass drum, you can see down here, is my Simmons Titan 50 bass drum trigger, as well as the Simmons Titan 50 bass drum pedal. Those are both seated on top of a Roland noise eater pad, which that of course is optional, but if you have neighbors down below you, it's a good idea to use one of those. Over here on the left, I've got the Roland FD7 hi-hat pedal, and so that gives me like basically a full setup here. I have a bass drum trigger, I have the hi-hat controller, I have the snare drum, and then on the pad, it's basically taking care of everything else. I have some toms on there, I have a hand clap right here, hi-hats are right here, and I can control that with the pedal. And then up on top, I've got some electronic cymbal sounds, and then 3 toms here, and then another electronic cymbal sound here. So it really gives you a lot of options. You know, I could create one with all toms, you know, and do some cymbals on the top, or however I want to do it. Okay, so the bass drum trigger, let's start with that. That's actually running into trigger input 3-4 right here. And these trigger inputs on the PD705 actually could be split. So yeah, you could basically hook up way more than what I have right now, but I figured this was enough for the demo. And then here, next to that, we've got trigger input 1 and 2, and that is what my snare drum is plugged into, the Simmons pad, which is just going down here and then plugged in there. And then the FD7 is being plugged into foot switch input number 1 right there. And that works good. Now, the bass drum pedal, or bass drum trigger rather, plugged into trigger input 3-4. Is that what it's in? Oh, sorry, actually I had that backwards. The snare drum I'm going into 3-4, and the bass drum I'm going into 1 and 2. But anyway, it's the same thing. You still have to program your sounds. When you plug into these trigger inputs, the kick drum for some reason, you know, into trigger input 1 defaults to a hi-hat, and then trigger input 3-4 defaults to a tom sound. So I had to reprogram the sounds to give me something that made sense, but wasn't very difficult. And as you can see, it's quite compact, and it's a lot of fun to play. All right, so that's my little micro electronic drum kit. This thing is a blast to play, very easy to take around with me, and doesn't weigh very much, and perfect for New York City. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. What'd you think about the micro kit? I'll see you all really soon. Have a great day.